Hi, I'm Tony,
And I'm Amanda.
and it's the White Time.
So, Tony, what do you have in store for us today?
We're going to talk about grandparents. Everybody's got them, or at least did at one point.
Okay.
What do you think of your grandparents?
My grandparents are great. My grandparents, I would say, raised me a lot of the time. I went to their house every summer, and on school vacations, I'd go to their house and whatnot. What about grandparents?
Well, I've got actually a list here. 10 things your great-grandparents did. It's actually a little bit farther back. Did you know your great-grandparents at all?
Slightly. My great-grandma died when I was 9.
Wow, so you actually met them.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know my great-grandparents at all.
So what about your grandparents, though? What kind of a role did your grandparents play in your life?
I actually, when growing up in Wisconsin, I would actually visit them quite a bit, and took a trip with them to Alaska. That was a lot of fun. That was on my dad's side, and my mom's side, we would actually visit them quite a bit on Christmas and other occasions. A lot of fun. Pool table is the biggest thing I remember from there. So what did you do with your great-grandparents? What do you remember?
They had a cabin on the lake. We'd go swimming. That was always a lot of fun.
10 things your great-grandparents did. And not a lot of us do this anymore. Or a lot of these things. Maybe some do. Number 1, they hung their laundry out to dry.
Oh, your mom does that.
We did that as kids. We had to hang every single load of laundry, including in the dead of winter.
Oh my gosh.
They were as stiff as a rock
Ridiculous.
when you brought those things in, but we still had to hang them out in the line, every single load.
My mom would hang our sheets out in the summer, but that was primarily it for us.
So even those that had auto washers hung their laundry out to dry. And
But an auto washer is not the same thing as an auto dryer.
no, they may have had the opportunity to purchase one, but they didn't because they wanted to hang them on the laundry. And I think for 2 reasons. Well, maybe one main reason. It costs a lot of electricity to dry laundry in a dryer.
True.
Number 2, it's been scientifically proven that hanging laundry out on a line actually is better because the sunlight will kill a lot of the harmful bacteria using, I think, the UV rays.
I just hate the smell. Gives me a migraine.
That outside
Yeah.
natural,
For some reason,
fresh
I don't know why.
smell.
It gives me a migraine.
All right, number 2, they ate locally. Most of great-grandparents grew their own garden and ate from it. My grandparents did that as well.
Well, they still do that. And your parents do that. They have a big garden.
Yep. And
We tried, but that
we
sucker
tried
just-
many years, and hail, heat, drastic heat from the summer killed it one year. We just can't grow a garden. And this year we actually tried again, and the ground was so stinking hard the plants couldn't even pop up through it, even though I watered them like every other day.
Well, that was in the planting season, and now it's raining so much that
It's
the
actually
rain is,
washing them out.
yeah, uprooting all the plants.
I think we've had rain
Yay!
every single day except one for like the past 3 weeks.
Something like that. It's flooding
Yeah.
in our town, so
So
it's a little nerve-wracking, but
So back to number 2, the rest ate what was grown locally and seasonally because shipping perishables was impossible. Well, now it's not. They just add all kinds of
pesticides
gross
and chemicals.
coatings on them and just junk that.
That's nasty.
Imagine what your body goes through when it actually eats that stuff. All right, number 3. They cooked from scratch. How many people actually do that anymore?
I try.
Yeah, you actually do a good job.
Thanks.
Convenience foods simply didn't exist. Foods were prepared from fresh ingredients that didn't come from boxes or drive-thrus.
So much better for you.
Yeah, they also canned, dried, and smoked foods to preserve them.
But smoking, in terms of like curing and different things, can be really bad for you too, because that can add some MSG and all that into it. So I don't know that.
Smoking?
Yeah, because it's called curing. And in the curing process, I think they get all kinds of preservatives and whatnot in them.
I
Maybe
don't think so.
not back
That's
in the
just,
day, but now.
Yeah, now they add all kinds of chemicals
Yeah.
to do it.
I don't know about back in the day.
Very quickly and just to add that smoke flavor. Now I'm talking about the actual smoking that would preserve them and give them that great flavor. It would take time. Number 4, they walked a lot. Even after the early invention of cars, people walked. You walked to the store, to see neighbors, to work on your property, to go to work. Life happened closer to home back then.
True.
I mean, we practically walk nowhere nowadays as a society. Everything is, get the car out. We don't even bike, practically.
Some people do.
Yeah. But it's more of having to do it as exercise. You make yourself. It wasn't a routine thing of, you know what, I need to go to the store. Let's take a walk. It's okay,
No, they'd get on their horse.
Yeah, if they had to go into town that was really far, but generally they would walk. I mean, how many of us now go and walk to the store to get groceries for dinner? It's
Your mom.
yeah, and that's a good thing, but nowadays we're like, no, I don't have time for walking. I've got all this stuff to do. We got to hurry up and go to the store, get this stuff, get back, do this, do that. We would never do that. Should. Number 5, they played with each other. Our great-grandparents grew up in a time where parlor games, card games, and some board games were popular forms of social gatherings and entertainment.
Yeah, but nowadays people play together. It's just video games.
And some say that, that would be great. You're still
Interacting
with each other. You're spending time with each other.
Yeah.
Others would say that's bad. That
Why?
You're staring at the TV, and that doesn't really give you that interaction, that face-to-face time of interacting.
Well, if you're with a friend or something, or that friend is patching in.
But you're still not having that
fine.
face-to-face time, and so I think that's what some people would say.
I think there's a balance.
Number 6, they saved and reused. Credit was not popular until the 50s and 60s, and even then, it was nothing like today. People saved up for big purchases and repurposed or reused items instead of constantly replacing them.
They should do more of that
Yeah.
today. So much debt today. So bad.
Well, I mean, two thoughts on that. Number 1, the debt. I mean, it's just horrendous in this country. People will get anything they want, and it's pushed by these companies saying, hey, here's a credit card, go and use it, get whatever you want to your heart's content, and you know what, don't pay for it right now, worry about it later. And then it gets people into trouble, and they can't pay it off, and they, some have to go into bankruptcy. It's a wicked system. Reusing instead of constantly replacing, I agree with that to a point, but you can go overboard. I mean, people that save just mounds of aluminum foil and plastic bags for everything, I'm not that bad.
Yes. Worse.
No.
Much worse.
No.
Yes.
People can go insane saving every single piece of wrapping paper they've ever gotten, saving twist
You like
ties.
to save it and then you repurpose it in terms of either wrapping gifts with it or something.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You repurpose pieces of tape.
to a point, I do not.
Yes, he does.
That's absolutely worthless. No.
Yes, he
You
does.
can get that bad, but I don't.
He does.
Okay, you get my point. There's people that are just really bad out there, and they have their whole house full of trash because they want to save
Oh, yeah,
all
that's
this
gross.
junk, and it's pointless.
Yeah.
But
Aren't you a hoarder?
Yeah, to a point.
Okay.
To a point.
Well, I guess the first step is admitting that you have a problem.
It's not a problem though.
How is it not a problem?
It's saving because I'm reusing instead of having to go out there and buy a whole new roll of wrapping paper. I reuse some of it. But I don't even do much wrapping paper anymore.
No, you don't.
Just use newspaper.
No, he just gives it to people. Here's your gift.
Sure.
No surprise.
But
no
okay,
opening.
going back to technology, I mean, you have to look at it. It is cheaper to buy a new DVD player rather than take it to the electronics repair place and have them, fix it. It's cheaper to do that. Well, what's it?
Was it cheaper to buy a new computer than to have it refixed?
No, computers are a different angle. I mean, it depends on the price. If you're paying $30 for a new DVD player, why would you go and have somebody work on it for a minimum of like $60?
That's a really crappy quality one.
Yeah, I mean, you can go out and buy a professional quality one for $6,000.
Right. So it just depends. Because what if you already had a $6,000 one? Then you wouldn't want to just throw that away.
Right, you'd want it repaired.
Yeah.
But it depends on how much something is initially, how much it takes to repair it. But a lot of those things today are essentially throw away, buy a new one.
Okay.
So.
All right. What's next on your list?
All right. Number 7, they bartered and haggled.
We do some of that.
Yeah. It was quite common in the early 20th century to barter goods and services.
I think more people should do that.
Yeah. What couldn't be traded would have been haggled, talked down in price. In other words, retail price wasn't a set thing everywhere. But could you imagine going into Walmart today and saying, "Hey, I'll give you $20 for that DVD player"?
Dave Ramsey said you can do that.
But would Walmart actually respond to that?
No idea. Have you ever tried it?
No.
I try it with some things, but not at Walmart.
I think that's too much of a big retail conglomerate where they would stare at you and probably call security.
That's true.
I don't think it would work. But we love garage sales.
We do. I like garage sales.
Great place for bartering and getting some deals. Number 8, they sewed and mended. Unless your great-grandparents were quite wealthy, they made their own clothes. Most people only had a handful of outfits and not a walk-in closet full. Clothes were made to last with quality fabrics and craftsmanship. Clothes were mended instead of replaced.
It's a good thing you know how to sew.
Barely.
I don't know how to sew.
I don't have much of those skills, but again, it's true. Why mend a shirt when you can go to Walmart for a cheap one and buy a new one for 50 cents? On the discount rack or something, or $1.
I've never found one for 50 cents.
For a t-shirt?
Where are you shopping at?
For a t-shirt. You've come home lots of times and bought one for like $1.
$1?
Okay, for
not 50
$1.
cents.
So does it make sense to take a shirt that's $1 and mend it?
Okay, I don't know.
If it's a silk shirt, maybe.
Yeah, but back then, it wasn't like it. It was Great Depression, and I mean, they could barely afford food. Why would they be going out buying all them clothes?
Well, exactly.
Nowadays, people just go on welfare. They can buy all them clothes.
Yeah. Number 9, they raised their own meat and butchered it. Most women included butchering small animals, part of their household skills. Many would raise chickens, rabbits, and other livestock right outside the kitchen door.
I would like to do that. I would like to live on a farm.
But would you actually butcher the thing?
I'm not sure.
I butchered chickens before.
It can't be that bad.
I mean, it's
got to be like
bad, but it's gross.
At first it's got to be gross, but then you kind of get used to it, and so.
Especially when
it's a means of eating. It's a means of eating.
Trying to dig out the intestines and.
Thanks for that graphic picture.
Accidentally hit the poop sack, and that is a smell. That is gross.
Wow, that was a visual.
All right, number 10, they wrote handwritten letters and sent them by mail. Our great-grandparents had...
I read emails.
Yeah.
Yay.
Not the same thing. Our great-grandparents had correspondence via beautifully handwritten letters. Penmanship was a required skill. People knew how to convey their daily lives in lovely letters that arrived in a mailbox. I think there's something said for a handwritten letter. It's I think you put more time, more effort, more thought into it rather than just a quick email. Obviously, it's a lot slower, but I think we've definitely lost a lot of penmanship. Some people can't even write well at all.
Some people couldn't write well back then either.
But it was a required skill. I mean, schools taught that. That's something that you had to know growing up.
So why did you choose to talk about great-grandparents today?
I just wanted to give a shout out to our ancestors who really helped to make this country what it is. I think a lot of things that they did are lost now. I think they're, some of them are arts, some of them are really good ideas that we still should do today and have lost in just our daily busy lives. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us. If you want to check out more of this, I did get this list from imperfectlyhappy.com. Thought it was a great list. They did a good job putting that together, and it's definitely a good subject to talk about.
Yeah. And if you want to check out my blog, it's mandyscorner.com. Gives more insight into me and different dynamics of our family. Definitely check it out.
Definitely a good read. All right, till next time, we're the Whitesides. I'm Tony.
And I'm Amanda.
See ya. What role in your life did they play?
I don't know.
How did they...
Why would you bring up